Dozens of shell casings littered the ground on South Burnett Road in Cocoa, where an infant was shot in the leg.
400 South Burnett Road, where an infant was shot.
Shots fired! Shots fired! 15!
That same report showed that Cocoa had the highest number of violent crimes.
So I have a niece that was abducted and also a niece that was and paralyzed.
My son, Jonte O'Shea Thomas, shot in the head 2016.
This is that happened?
Yes.
And to those out there who might be foolish enough to ask why we shot so many times, that answer is simple. Because evil can never be dead enough.
My name is Sharon Jones.
What's yours?
Shamika DeVoe.
And you guys are residents of Cocoa right now?
Yes.
How long have you been living here for?
Over 50 years for me.
Over 30.
My name is Anita Gibson.
And you're a resident of Cocoa right now?
Yes, I'm a resident of Cocoa, Florida.
How long have you been living here for?
Off and on, I've been living here all of my life.
The website alarms.org says crime in Cocoa ranks right up there with places like Detroit, Michigan, and Oakland, California.
I did some research on the crime statistics in Cocoa, and the stats show that Cocoa is in the top 5 highest violent crime rates in Florida. Is that a stat that surprises you?
No.
No. Why does it not surprise you?
We live here.
I think that's a pocket statement because different pockets, meaning the south area of Cocoa, the north area of Cocoa, downtown Cocoa, are some safe pockets of area Cocoa. But there's always an unsafe area of any populated city. But Cocoa overall is safe to me.
What type of things does a kid in Cocoa grow up seeing?
Violence, drugs, police activity.
Police corruption.
I mean, lots of things. Some of their friends being drafted to the NBA, NFL.
The other being zipped in by that.
Yes.
Have you guys been directly impacted by violence?
We have. So I have a niece that was abducted in 2019 by a career criminal.
This situation is very similar to a recent case that made national headlines, the death of Irina Zaruska.
Here are the facts that many outlets have shamefully and intentionally failed to report.
Watch as he slowly opens a pocket knife, then stands and without warning plunges the knife into his victim.
We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country.
Irina was a 26-year-old Ukrainian refugee that was escaping her war-torn country and decided to relocate in the USA while pursuing a nursing degree. She was stabbed for no reason by a man she never even met who also had an extensive criminal history. This leads to a question about our nation's justice system. Should we really be letting people out with extensive criminal histories back out onto the streets, the same streets where our country's women and children roam?
And also a niece that was shot and paralyzed in 2013.
Gun violence right now is in the realm of an epidemic, in the realm of a crisis that is something that we cannot seem to stop, slow down, or patch. My son, Jonte O'Shea Thomas, was shot in the head 2016 by a drive-by. The only reason why I'm able to talk, to sit up, to speak, is 2 ways and 2 reasons. God spoke to me about 3 years ago and brought me back to life, more or less. And I am so super proud of my 2 boys, Jonte, who's passed away, and Shaquille Thomas. And Shaquille, my son, is the one that brought me back to life. My son was a man that wanted to be happy. He wanted to have his way. And at birth, he had all of those. He had whatever he wanted or desired, because that was the only child I was able to have. And it was a child that was freelance wherever, whenever, do whatever. He was always a straight A student from elementary all the way to high school. And then in high school, he wasn't challenged enough academically to keep him there. And so the streets had more of an effect on his lifestyle than I could.
An apartment complex that left a woman dead. The scene unfolding last night at the Candlewood Apartments off Fisk Boulevard.
All right, guys, we are with Miss Shirley at the Candlewood Apartments right now. How long have you been living here for?
For 6.5 years. Well, this place has a history of violence long before I've been here. And but the residents are pretty cool. They're hardworking people, you know, just trying to make an everyday living. You know, the most of the trouble that stems at this complex is from people that do not live here.
I did some research on some violent crime statistics in Cocoa, and it's in the top 5 highest violent crime rates in the state of Florida. Is that a statistic that surprises you?
It does. It really does. But then again, I'm not surprised because the crime rate is high here. If it's not in this neighborhood, it's around in the neighboring streets.
Can you take us to some spots where a lot of crazy stuff has happened around here?
Okay, well, I'm gonna show you the bullet holes.
It looks like someone's car is getting repoed right now.
In 2019, I had a niece named Tushar. She was abducted 6 days until they found her on Nova Road, deceased.
The way that we handle situations and crimes against women, because we've got to do something better. If we want people to report crimes and we want them to stick with it, then we've got to put them in a position to where they feel safe.
Do you see that bullet hole right here?
Yeah, this is that happened?
Yes. And you can see it exited out there.
How often are the police out here?
They're out here daily. Yep. You know, we don't have a problem with Cocoa PD. You know.
Do innocent people get hurt a lot in Cocoa, or is it just mainly people involved?
Innocent people. Those 2 people that I just mentioned were innocent.
He shows the suspect buying a prepaid phone elsewhere.
Many said a final goodbye to 31-year-old Tushar Jackson.
She took the same values that she got from my grandmother and applied them to her own 4 beautiful children.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been out since the 90s. Probably about 30 people that I can say was close to me died as a result of violence.
Do you feel like any community leaders could do something about this issue if they wanted to, or is it more complex than that?
So I feel like the community leaders are on board with trying to make the situation better, coupled with we've got to have a police force or a police department that's more interested in policing the neighborhood rather than stereotypes and stigmatisms. They, you know, in my opinion, it's more, they're more concerned about drugs than they are about safety.
Do you guys feel safe under Cocoa Police Department, or no?
I don't feel safe under any police department in this area.
What type of situation was he caught up in?
It could have been a street situation. His atmosphere of partying the way he does. Cocoa High had just had a championship win that year, 2016, and they were out at a club doing what they do. And a gunman, I don't know any other description, but he had an assault rifle and he stuck it out the window. And as my son turned left, going west on Mitchell, he opened gunfire on 3 passengers in that car. My son was the driver of his friend's car, who was on the other side, and another friend in the back who was there from after the party. Everybody was going home having fun and happy. I can't see a way that we can stop that gun violence. We can slow it down. I mean, the kids in Minnesota, the schools, a lot of it is mental health. And my thing is, You have to start almost elementary school. Let them be aware that gun violence is prevalent. Let them never ever put their hands on a gun, period.
A lot of people blame like modern rap music for influencing kids to join the streets. Do you believe that to be true or false?
I believe that to be a facet of what kids do because they emulate the gun violence and the rapping and they think that, oh, that's the way to live and the money is a big factor. But videos, just like a movie, like Lifetime, you see things and it influences your thoughts. But we're talking about kids that not only influenced by videos, we have to incorporate the fact that there's substance that perpetuates that feeling of I can do anything, go to prison for 10 years, come back out, and I got a car waiting, I got money waiting. And so, yes, the videos do have a factor, but it's only a part of the big picture.
And what do you think our president can do to not prevent gun violence? Because that's sort of impossible, but like to heavily reduce it.
I think the president of the United States needs to get his mind in the game of life. And he sends a word down, tell Minnesota, the mayor, whomever, oh, I'm sorry about what happened. But where's your stance? I mean, physically, to be there in the moment and face a parent or face somebody in Minnesota or wherever and say, you know, we feel your pain. We'll do everything we can to alleviate the gun violence in your area.
I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows, so they were like, the shots were like right next to me.
It took place in a house of God. The congregation, predominantly young students from the adjoining elementary school.
Known for her laughter, this morning 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel and 10-year-old Harper Moisky now identified.
Just something to make them feel they matter. To me, the president doesn't make anybody feel that they matter. Older, younger, guns, no guns. Power is a very dangerous thing in the hand of Satan. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, there have been a lot of things happening here. You know, that's a building right here. The girl, the boyfriend, a boy died upstairs in the E building from a overdose. And the D building, my niece stayed in D1. She was the one that was abducted and killed in 2019. And 2022, there was a shooting over there in that D building. Have you heard about that? When the 4 girls started fighting and one of the girls told the other girl to shoot her. Yeah, and she died.
At the Candlewood Apartments Tuesday night, police say the victim and her girlfriend came here to confront Bird and Thomas about their issues with one another.
Most of all, we are good people. We have children. I have grandchildren. I mean, crime is not rampant around here like that.
Do you feel like some people overreact to how bad Coco is?
No, but we are mostly just family. We're mostly women and children. And like I said, the trouble comes from the outside.
Do you hear gunshots sometimes around here?
Sometimes, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an everyday thing. You hear gunshots and.
We're talking about a lot of like negative statistics for Coco, but what do you love about your community?
That we all understand the problem, and those of us that have decided to step outside the statistic can come together and be the difference that we want to see.
Mhm.
Because yes, it's number 5, and yes, there's a lot of negative, publications and negative implications about our city, but it's small. You know what I mean? And when it matters, they stick together. When it matters, they rally. When it matters, they show up.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's even though our city is, riddled with crime, it's not an isolated incident. Everywhere is. What keeps me here is that it's the devil, I know my city. I have family here. I have roots here, and just as she said, we rally together one for another. And hey, we know what's going on, and that's why I decided to, when I became, religious and I became a pastor, I decided to pastor in the city where I lived. I believe I can make the most impact in my own city. I can't go somewhere else and make a change if I can't attempt to make a change right here.
To therapy a few years ago to try to get back on track. About 5 years ago, I went to therapy, and they said to do a graph of the relationship you had with your son. So this is called the relationship graph, and it gives a positive, like the birth and unconditional love. I'm not going to read everything because you can see it, but it gives the relationship graph, and it gives the negative of your son. He was strong-willed. He was determined to chase money, cars, best clothing. He refused to listen to me, upset when I divorced his dad. And I think that's when he was kind of distant from me somewhat. So she said, make a graph of what you think. And it's called the lost history graph. And you can look at it, because I don't want to read every single thing on here, but every relationship graph to each person is different. And this is how mine is. And so I think in your free time, parents, loved ones, friends can make a graph. And that will kind of empty your heart out in respect to who was that person to me? How do I feel about that person? And my thing is Jonte O'Shea Thomas will live forever in my heart.
How important is a connection to God to heal a city that is plagued by violence?
That is the only way. That is the only way. That is the only way that I was able, or we were able, to get through the violence that we suffered in our family, the violence that we suffered, in our friends, in our community, is through prayer and seeking God for wisdom on how to deal with certain situations. Right now, there are some pastors in this area that can't go in certain areas. I can go anywhere because I believe that, I can connect with them not only through spiritual means, but through experience. So it's important. It's vital. That is like the heartbeat of bringing us out. And this is all what, in my opinion, started when they begin to remove God, from different sectors. And so when you remove God and you don't replace him, then a replacement is going to show up.
Okay, last question. What do you want people that don't live in the city to understand about the people of Cocoa, or just the city in general? Like a big misunderstanding that a lot of people say.
So I think the big misunderstanding is that everyone in Cocoa is just, evil, and there's all type of violence, and we're just the riffraff, of the state, and that's not the truth. A lot of things that have taken place here has been influenced by people that do not live in this neighborhood. Things have been delivered into this neighborhood, delivered into this city, that has caused this city to go south, that we had no control over. The drugs that are in the neighborhood, where are they coming from? It's not the people in Cocoa that's going to get them. Somebody's bringing them here. The guns and the violence that these people have their hands on, somebody's shipping them here. We don't make guns here in Cocoa. We don't, young Black America, they don't make guns. They don't have the materials to make them. So I think it has to start before Cocoa. It has to start from where this stuff is coming from. It's coming downhill. So the people in Cocoa, we just want an opportunity to live our lives and to raise our children and not have to wear so many t-shirts with our youth on them because someone has taken their lives.